Open your book to page 74. Today's lesson is how to solve absolute values using the graphing method. So let's go to example 1. It says find the distance between the graph of 7 and 15. Okay. So remember, absolute value means the distance, right? So A, you're looking for distance between 7 and 15. That means you're looking for absolute value of 7 and 15, right? So again, that's a definition. So definition of absolute value is the distance between those 2 points. And so this will equal to absolute value of negative A, which is equal to 8. Okay? So that means the distance, so here's your distance. So distance between these 2 points is 8. So that's what the definition of absolute value is. So keep that in mind. So now, if you go to example 2, it says solve w minus 4 equal to 3. Okay, so now, remember now, this is a graphing method. So on the test, I will specify the method. You must use the method. Okay, so again, definition of absolute value is the distance between those 2 points. So that is your starting point. And this is the end point. And that is the distance. So that's what the definition is. So this is how you do the graphing. Okay, so starting point is, so minus is part of your format. Okay, so that is the number of here. So don't include in the negative. Negative is part of your format. So difference between the 2 points is the distance. So your starting point is the 4. Okay? And the distance is 3. So that means you're going to go 3 this way, and you're going to go 3 this way, right? The distance. So there are 2 possibilities. So this would be a 7, and this would be 1. So your answer would be W equal to 1 or W equal to 7. Okay? And that's your answer. So this is the graphing method. So do not separate into 2 equations. That is the algebraic method. See, if I ask you to do it by algebraic method, you separate into 2 equations, right? But when I ask you to do it in graphing method, that's what you do. You graph, sketch, and look. Okay. So again, that's your starting point, and to figure out the end point, you use a distance of 3. So you go 3 this way, you go 3 this way, and you end up with 1 and right. 4, you go 3 that way, you get 7. 4, you go 3 this way, you get 1, and that's how you get the 2 answers. Okay, so you can keep that in mind. Okay, so the equal is kind of fairly easy. Okay, but the inequality is a little bit more involved. So let's try example 3. So your key concept is try to get this format. Get a variable minus a number equal to a number. So again, variable, number, number. That's what you want to get to. Okay, so example 3, you want to solve y plus 2, absolute value is less than equal to 5. Okay? So first you have to put this in the correct format. So remember, you have to be a minus. So what you need to do is you need to make y minus negative 2, absolute value is less than equal to 5. Again, you have to be a variable minus a number. Then over here is your distance. Okay? So again, so that is your starting point. So this is your starting point over here. I'm going to use SP, stand for starting point, and this is your end point. Right? So starting point, end point, and this is your distance. Okay? You don't have to do this. I'm just labeled so you can follow. So my starting point is negative 2. Now remember, you must be a subtraction. So this is addition, so you need to make into minus negative 2. Okay, so now the distance is 5. So you go this way, 5. So negative 2 plus 5 will give you 3. And you go 5 this way, so it will be negative 7. Okay? And notice over here, see this over here? They tell you this is going to be a solid dot. Okay? And now if you look at the arrow is pointing toward the absolute value. See over here? It's pointing toward the starting point. See the arrow point toward the starting point? So that means you have to make the arrow point toward the starting point. Okay? And so it means it connects. And so that is your graph. Therefore, your answer would be -7 less than or equal to y less than or equal to 3. Right? Just match that. So -7 is this dot, y is this line over here, and 3 is this dot, and everything in between. Right? So that's your answer. So so this is your graphing method. So get your starting point, get your distance to get your endpoints, and then use the arrow. Again, see the arrow is pointing toward the starting point, so you make the arrow point toward the starting point. If it's pointing away, then it will be pointing away. So just follow that. Okay, let's go to example 4. You have 3 minus absolute value of 2x is greater than or equal to 5. So again, we need to put this in the correct format. So first, let's go and switch the term. So you got -2x plus 3 is greater than 5. Then next, notice there's a -2 in front. Okay, so what you need to do is you have to factor out the -2. But because this is inside the absolute value, so when you factor out, it would be in absolute value. So factor out the -2 in absolute value, so this would become x minus 3 over 2. When you factor out, means you divide. Okay, and you can check your answers, right? -2 times x give you -2x. -2 times -3 over 2 give you +3, right? Okay. So now you need to get rid of that. So absolute value. Now you can evaluate this because it's a number, right? So this becomes a 2. Okay. So this is kind of a little bit messy because of the negative you have to factor out. Now if it's a positive, you can just divide. That's fine. But if it's negative, you have to factor out the negative in absolute value, make it into positive, and then after that you divide by 2. So you get absolute value of x minus 3 over 2 is greater than 5 over 2. Okay? So again, so let's get your graph. So here's your starting point. Okay, I'm going to put in parentheses so you don't including the negative. It must be a subtraction, right? So that's your starting point. And so you go 5 over 2 this way. So this will give you 8 over 2. Okay, right? 3 plus 5 give you 8. So don't worry about simplifying. Okay, so you go 5 over 2 this way. So 3, when you go this way, you minus, right? So 3 minus 5 give you -2. Okay? So now this is an open circle, and this is an open circle, and it's pointing away from the number. See, see the arrow is pointing away from 3 over 2. So this will be pointing away. See, here's 3 over 2. Just follow that. See, the arrow is pointing away. So you have to pointing away and point away. And so now you write your final answer. So you're going to get x is less than 1, right? -1, right? Or x is greater than 4, right? Because 8 over 2 is 4, and that is your answer. Okay? So you can make sure so the key is get the absolute value into the correct format, and know that this is your starting point, that's your distance, and that is your end point. Okay, so let's go and do some practice, and I will come around to help you guys to sort out, okay, if you get stuck.